Once upon a time, people wanted to be something. Now they just want to be called something. Scroll through social media and you'll see it. Every guy with a leather jacket and a neutral expression declaring himself a Sigma. The label that was once a whisper of rare individuality has turned into a megaphone for mass delusion. Everyone wants to be the misunderstood loner now, the detached thinker, the quiet power. But here's the truth. If everyone's claiming to be a Sigma, then nobody actually is, because the Sigma was never a costume. It was the consequence of reality punching you harder than comfort could protect you. The real Sigma didn't choose the path, it was forged in him by isolation, rejection, failure, and clarity. And now, we've got influencers selling Sigma starter packs. But the truth? You can't download detachment. You can't fake resilience. And you can't post your way into power. Real lone wolves don't upload their hunt, they survive it. The rise of the Sigma male archetype wasn't supposed to become a marketing slogan. It was a reaction, a reflection of men tired of fitting into social hierarchies that never served them. But now, it's become a caricature. Everyone wants the image, no one wants the scars. The Sigma label became popular because it looked cool to reject the system, but most people just built a new system around the rejection. The quiet ones online scream louder than alphas now, pretending that disinterest is dominance. The real Sigma, he's not posting quotes about it, he's too busy being it. That's why this isn't about destroying the label, it's about exposing the imposters. Because the truth is savage. If you need to say you're one, you're probably not. 1. Everyone wants the aesthetic, no one wants the isolation. Being Sigma has become a style, not a struggle. Black clothes, cold stares, silence used as branding, it's all performance now. But the real Sigma never chose silence to look mysterious. He chose it because noise never understood him. His distance isn't rebellion, it's self-preservation. The online version sells you detachment as cool. The real version lives with it because the world gave him no choice. People think they can copy the Sigma aura by wearing confidence like cologne. But isolation isn't a trend, it's a tax. And most men wouldn't last a week paying it. They love the mystery, but they'd collapse under the loneliness that built it. 2. Detachment became a costume for the emotionally fragile. Now everyone uses Sigma to hide the fact they can't handle connection. They confuse emotional numbness with strength. They claim, I don't care about anyone, not because they're above it, but because they're terrified of being hurt again. That's not detachment, that's defense. The Sigma doesn't avoid emotion. He masters it. He feels deeply, but never lets feelings dictate his path. The fake Sigmas use apathy as armor. The real ones use awareness as discipline. One burns bridges to protect his ego, the other walks away to protect his peace. If you have to prove you don't care, you already do. 3. The world mistook silence for superiority. Social media turned quiet into a trend. Now everyone posts in minimalistic black and white with captions like, not everyone deserves access to me. But real silence isn't curated, it's endured. The Sigma doesn't stay quiet to impress you. He stays quiet because speaking rarely changes anything. He doesn't retreat to build suspense, he retreats to build himself. People imitate the stillness, but miss the suffering behind it. Silence for him isn't peace, it's pressure. It's where he dissects every failure, every truth, every fake smile he's ever encountered. They copied his silence, but not his self-awareness. 4. Society confuses rejection of norms with depth. Now, disagreeing with the crowd is enough to call yourself a Sigma, but rebellion without reason is just noise in reverse. The Sigma doesn't reject the world because it's trendy, he rejects it because he's seen through it. He's lived inside systems that reward obedience and punish originality. And he walked out when he realized the price of belonging was self-betrayal. The Sigma influencers online? They disagree with everything just to look edgy, but contradiction isn't wisdom. It's just insecurity wearing a mask. He doesn't walk against the crowd to stand out. He walks alone because the road ahead is empty. 5. Every weak man now uses the word Sigma as a shortcut to respect. The same men who spent their lives desperate for validation now use the Sigma label as camouflage. They've rebranded their failures as independence, their bitterness as focus, and their lack of empathy as discipline. But pretending to be untouchable doesn't make you powerful, it makes you hollow. The Sigma doesn't use solitude as an excuse to avoid growth. He uses it as the forge that shapes him. Weak men hide behind isolation to escape accountability. Strong men use it to confront themselves. Solitude doesn't make you a Sigma, surviving it does. 6. Real Sigmas don't need a tribe. Fake ones just can't get in one. Every man now claims he doesn't need anyone. But if you listen close enough, you can hear the bitterness underneath. The real Sigma doesn't need to announce his independence. It's written in how he moves. He doesn't reject people, he just stopped expecting much from them. The fake ones treat detachment like a rebellion against rejection. But their loneliness isn't a choice, it's a consequence. Real Sigmas could connect if they wanted to, they just choose to connect selectively. That's the difference between solitude and exile. He walks alone not because no one followed, but because no one could keep up. 7. Everyone wants his aura. No one wants his reality. The Sigma's aura, calm, confident, self-contained, attracts people who think it's peace. What they don't see are the nights he questions his purpose, the years he spent misunderstood, the weight of being the man who carries his own world on his back. Most people want his energy, but not his exhaustion. That's why the labels become diluted. They copy his composure without living his chaos. They mimic his posture, not his patience. You can copy a man's walk, but not the road that made him limp. 8. The internet made Sigma a fantasy, not a frequency. The Sigma archetype went viral because it felt like rebellion in a world of conformity. But once something becomes content, it loses its truth. Now you've got men quoting Sigma rules in TikTok captions, never realizing the irony the moment you need validation for your detachment, it's gone. The Sigma was supposed to be an anomaly, not an algorithm. The moment millions started claiming it, the word lost its teeth. Because the real Sigma doesn't talk about being different, he just is. Once they start selling your identity, it's no longer yours. 9. They all want to be misunderstood until it actually happens. Being misunderstood sounds poetic until it's real. People romanticize being the outsider until they realize it means nobody checks on you, nobody gets you, nobody waits for you. The Sigma doesn't crave misunderstanding. He accepts it as the price of truth. He doesn't get offended when people misjudge him. He knows understanding is too expensive for most. The imitators crumble under silence. They crave to be different, but only if they can still be adored for it. The Sigma knows that real individuality comes with invisibility. They want to be misunderstood, but only if everyone's watching. 10. The label became popular because it requires no proof. Sigma became the easiest mask to wear because it sounds deep without demanding depth. To be alpha, you need dominance. To be beta, submission. To be Sigma, just say you don't care. That's why it exploded online. It's a perfect modern illusion. Power without effort. But the real Sigma never said he didn't care. He just stopped pretending to. He's detached because life forced him to evolve past emotion-driven identity. He doesn't brag about solitude. He embodies it quietly, efficiently, relentlessly. Everyone wants the title, no one wants the test. On a final note, the truth is brutal. Not everyone is a Sigma, and that's exactly why it matters. If everyone's special, no one is. The Sigma never wanted a label anyway. The world gave it to him because it couldn't explain his existence. He doesn't care if you call him mysterious, emotionless, or intimidating, because he's not performing for anyone, he's surviving his own design. And when the crowd moves on to the next trend, he'll still be standing there, in silence, unshaken. The Sigma never fit the mold because he was never made from it.